Edward IV was the eldest surviving son of Richard, Duke of York. They descended from Edward III, and in 1461 he took the throne of England. After the Battle of St Albans, the Yorkists had managed to take charge. Power very quickly returned to Lancastrian hands, and at the Parliament of 1459, known as the Parliament of Devils, many Yorkist leaders were alienated and exiled. Now, Richard Neville, the Earl of Warwick, also known as the Kingmaker, was one of the most powerful and influential nobles from the Wars of the Roses. And from Calais, he launched a propaganda campaign that positioned the Yorkists as protecting the realm from the misrule of the Lancastrians. This feeling had a good response in London, which was sort of recovering from Jack Cade's rebellion, which I talked about in a previous video. And by 1460, he'd won over a lot of the gentry. And in 1460, Warwick returns from Calais with an army and the future Edward IV. Now, Warwick's initial aim was to remove the support that Queen Margaret of Anjou had to take away her faction, her gang. And initially, he just asked to speak to the king, to speak to King Henry VI, but he was refused access. So instead, they attack and they kill several leading Lancastrians. They also seized the king. Now, when the leader of the Yorkists, Richard of York, was killed in the December of 1460, power passed to the 18-year-old Edward, future Edward IV. And in 1461, Edward defeats Jasper Tudor's Welsh Lancastrians. In February of 1461, we have the second Battle of St Albans, which was brutal, and it actually forced Warwick to retreat, leaving behind Henry VI, some say slumped against a tree or in a cart. He then had to be rescued by Margaret's forces. Now, they've got the king back, but unfortunately, despite this disaster at St Albans, Margaret just doesn't have the support. And in March of 1461, the leading churchmen and lords declare Henry VI deposed and Edward IV the new and rightful king. Join me tomorrow and we'll see how Edward gets on. If you want more, don't forget I have a free history community at patreon.com, Tudor Tales, where there's lots of free stuff for you. See you tomorrow.